Well, what is this I see? A direct response, in a way, to the video that we just made yesterday where we talked about top prospect at the 2024 NHL Draft, Tej Iginla, and what he had said about Cole Caulfield and Uri Slafkovsky, how he wants to play with these guys should he be drafted by the Habs. But, as we had talked about in this video, there was another prospect in the 2024 draft who has been pretty popular amongst Canadiens fans and who had a few comments himself in regards to the Habs. It is the guy we had talked about a month ago. None other than, if I could find him real quick over here, there you go, Cayden Lindstrom, who had spoken out about the Montreal Canadiens a month ago, talking about Slafkovsky, talking about Caulfield, talking about the Canadiens and how awesome he thinks they are. And it was a pretty good pitch, I would say, for Montreal Canadiens fans to get their fix in when it comes to seeing Cayden Lindstrom potentially want to go over to the Canadiens. Well, we had ourselves this article published by Arpon Basu yesterday, June 7th, 2024, on The Athletic. Cayden Lindstrom's dream of playing under the bright lights of the NHL is approaching, and I'll leave a link in the description if you want to go ahead and read this. Of course, it's The Athletic, so it's paid for material. We're not going to read this in this video, we're just showing the title and the image, but there were a few very interesting excerpts from this article that were posted on various parts of social media. There was a little snippet posted on Reddit, there was another thing posted on Twitter. We're going to talk about those because, hey, somebody else posted it for free. It's just a small snippet, it's enough to go out there and talk about, so I wanted to make a video about this. Of course, if you have The Athletic, read this article. Give The Athletic your money because it's a very good read. Arpon Basu does some very good work, as always. But this video is going to highlight some of the parts of Cayden Lindstrom and his very interesting connection with the Montreal Canadiens. It already exists. And if you wanted to say this is sort of a foundation to maybe set up more future connections with the Canadiens, it wouldn't be too irrational of a conclusion to make. Let's go out there onto the Montreal Canadiens subreddit, because one of the posts made by GoHabsGo31 goes out there and uses an excerpt from this article talking about a very particular Canadian, Brendan Gallagher, and his dad. Here's what he said about Cayden Lindstrom, who's been training at his Delta Hockey Academy since 2020. The president of the Delta Hockey Academy is Ian Gallagher, the father of veteran Canadiens forward Brendan Gallagher, and he remembers seeing Lindstrom walk in for the first time as a teenager. In the 30 years that I've been doing this, Cayden Lindstrom is number one in a number of physical categories. His power, his speed, Gallagher said in a phone interview. And when I saw this pop up on my timeline, I was like, okay, wait a minute, pause. Cayden Lindstrom, Brendan Gallagher, Gallagher's dad, what is going on here? And yeah, let's go out there and verify everything here. Cayden Lindstrom, by the way, they updated his Elite Prospects profile page. That is the picture from the Combine. Very nice picture indeed. 18 years old from Chetwynd, BC. So yeah, he is from here, where I am. I say here because, of course, I'm in Vancouver. Not here as in Montreal. 6'4", 218, big dude, and he did suit up for the Delta Hockey Academy for a few years. He used to play in the Yukon, but ever since his preteen days, he ended up making an appearance at the U17, U18, and U15 levels at the CSSHL Prep School League before eventually becoming the WHL monster that we know him as today. And if you wanted to verify the Delta Hockey Academy, well, if you go over to their website, it says right here that their president of operations is Ian Gallagher, who has led the Delta Hockey Academy since its inception in 2004. He designed and implemented the South Delta Secondary Hockey Academy Skills Program and has grown the academy to include 8 competitive teams, 7 of which play in the Canadian Sports School Hockey League. Ian is the strength and conditioning coach for the Delta Hockey Academy with over 25 years of experience working with pro and amateur players, including 12 years with the Vancouver Giants from 2004 to 2016. Ian earned his Bachelor of Education from the University of Alberta and taught for 15 years in the Edmonton School District. Ian Gallagher, of course, if you take a look at this, his son is Brendan Gallagher, so very easy connection to make there. You can see Ian has had a long career in hockey, Vancouver Giants conditioning coach, director of player development, Delta Hockey Academy president, and others. I mean, if you take a look at his role here, the Vancouver Giants in the 2000s to 2015 era, you want to talk about Giants that had played for the team in this category. Let's just pick and choose a few random years here and talk about who it was that Ian Gallagher had the pleasure of coaching as a conditioning coach. Okay, Vancouver Giants in 2011, 2012. Brendan Gallagher, of course. He's the guy's son, so there is a connection there. Jordan Martinook is over here. Carter Popoff. Interesting names, of course. If you go over to the 08-09 Vancouver Giants, Brendan Gallagher. Evander Kane is over here. Okay, there's another name that we recognize. Lance Boma, of course. Then going over to some of the other names, Cody Franzen, Jonathan Blum is still there. Milan Lucic, of course, is one of the bigger ones. And when you think about this, you talk about the names that Ian Gallagher has taught and whom he's had the pleasure of working with. Gallagher, Kane, Milan Lucic. None of these guys are light cookies to crumble. They are very tough customers. And so for Ian Gallagher to go out there and say that, yeah, in the 30 years that I've been doing this entire thing, working with kids, working with younger guys, working with different bodies of hockey organizations, Cayden Lindstrom is the number one kind of guy in physical categories, power, speed, and all of this in his age range. That is some pretty high praise for not only just the guy who is the literal dad of Brendan Gallagher, but also somebody who has had experience with different players in the past. If there's anybody who probably knows what he's talking about, it's got to be Ian Gallagher. So there is already a connection there that I thought was noteworthy to bring up. Of course, you know, Ian Gallagher is independent from the Montreal Canadiens, and Brendan Gallagher is independent from the Canadian scouting staff. It's not like, oh, Cayden Lindstrom and Ian Gallagher are buddy-buddy, therefore Brendan Gallagher's buddy-buddy with him, therefore the Canadiens are going to draft him because he's friends with him. That's not how it works. It's just interesting to see that there is some sort of a low-key connection here between people in the Canadiens organization that are important and Cayden Lindstrom, plus the fact that they did go to dinner earlier this week during the Combine. It makes for some very interesting discussion. And furthermore, to this article's point, there was another excerpt that I wanted to go out there and read that was posted onto Twitter by Karina at Golkoff. She screenshotted this, posted it, and it got quite a few views, 26,000. Here are some comments that Cayden Lindstrom had in regards to the Montreal Canadiens. I think loud. Crazy, he said when asked what comes to mind when he thinks of Montreal. Good colors, too. Good colors are Ponbasu questions. I've always wanted to wear a red jersey, Cayden Lindstrom said. I love the color red, red and blue. Perhaps on June 28th in Las Vegas, the Canadiens will get the opportunity to make that happen. So, we had already talked the first time about how Cayden Lindstrom wants to play with Slafkovsky, Caulfield. He likes these players. He admires their style. And if you have some sort of a Slafkovsky, Lindstrom, and Doc line, for example, don't even need to put Caulfield there. Put all the three big dudes together. That could be an absolute terrorizing line for other teams. But for him to go out there and straight up say, yeah, I like the colors of Montreal as well. Like, he's going really far into it, man. Loud, crazy Montreal, and great colors. He wants to wear red and blue. Not to mention the connection he's already got with Brendan Gallagher's dad. I mean, there's a lot going here for Cayden Lindstrom if you're a Montreal Canadiens fan that wants to see him get drafted by the Habs. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about all we have talked about today when it comes to this guy. Again, link is going to be in the description if you want to read this article. It's all there for your reading pleasure, but of course only if you have The Athletic. For now, though, let me know your thoughts in the comment section about Cayden Lindstrom and who do you think the Montreal Canadiens should take 5th overall. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and bye.